Good afternoon, everyone. This is Wendy from Log Cabin Vintage, and I'm back for another week of What's New Wednesday. Before we get started, I just wanted to point out in the background, I did rearrange my bookshelves behind me for a nice, fresh spring look. All of these books are available on the website except for the bottom shelf. These books over here are not quite listed, but if you're interested in any of them, just let me know and I can get them listed. But everything else is listed, so if you see anything you'd like, be sure you check it out. Today, I would like to wish Lois Lowry a happy birthday, and my first book set that I'm sharing is this set of the Giver Quartet books. It's all 4 books from the series written by Lois Lowry. The Giver did win a Newbery Award winner, a Newbery Medal. So these books are now in the shop and you can pick them up. My favorite new book that I listed, old book, is this 1938 edition of the Copper-Toed Boots by Marguerite D'Angeli. And what I love about this is that it is autographed by Marguerite D'Angeli. It's dated 1949 in the autograph, but the book was actually published in 1938, I believe, or 1939. So it is 1938. So this is probably a first edition. I'm not positive. But it's in the shop now, and it's called The Copper-Toed Boots, and just another wonderful book by her. All of her books are wonderful. I love every single one that I've come across so far. I added some Nancy Drew books. This is book 4, 5, and 6, The Mystery at Lilac Inn, The Secret Shadow Ranch, and The Secret of Redgate Farm. So you can see them here, and it's just a set of 3. So I added those to the website. I also added a set of these twin thrillers. These are Nancy Drew books that they published in the 1970s, and they are double books. So this one is The Spider Sapphire Mystery and the Invisible Intruder, and this one is The Mystery of the Brass Bound Trunk and The Club in the Old Album. So this is an entire set. I'm only missing 2 out of the complete set. 2 volumes out of the complete set. So you can find that on my website as well. They're beautiful. They're a light lilac color, and they're just really gorgeous books. I added this 2-volume set of Lorna Doone. I absolutely love these spines. So this was a no-brainer to add these when I found them. So those hit the shop this week. These 2 have been well loved over the year. One was a school book and the other one was not, but they've just been well loved. But they're old Anna Green Gables editions. I love the minty green color, perfect for spring. So if you're looking for some new editions of Anne, there you go. Next up, I have this set of 3 Raggedy Ann books. Raggedy Ann Stories is the first one. Raggedy Ann and Andy is the second one, and Raggedy Ann and the Wonderful Witch is the third one. So this set is in the website now. And like I said, these can all be found under the What's New or New Arrivals collection on the website. I love history, so I found this, the story of the American flag, this week, and I paired it with the story of the White House. Both were written by Wayne Whipple, and that set is now in the shop. I added an entire collection. It's not a complete set, but it's a set of these Cornerstones of Freedom U.S. history books. These are weekly reader books. They are just short little history books for kids. They have larger print so kids can read them, but they're great history books, and they go all U.S. history. So I added 34 to the website, and I also have another set of like 4 or 5 that are listed as well. So Cornerstones of Freedom, they're underneath history, and also underneath the What's New or the New Arrivals section. I added this set of the Love Comes Softly books by Jeanette Oak. If you were like me, you might have read these when you were a kid. I absolutely love these books. I read them after I read all the Little House on the Prairie books, and they're very similar. So this is the entire set of the Love Comes Softly series. So they were added to the shop this week. I've been very busy adding books. It's been a lot of fun, but I love adding new books, and I have lots to add. So vintage school books, I love them. So this little set was added. These are all readers, like basic readers. And they're just really, really sweet. They're filled with really fun illustrations. You can see, and they're all different. Like some are more basic, some are more advanced, but they're just filled with wonderful illustrations. So that set was added to the website as well. I added another set of children's school books because I have a lot of them because I just absolutely love them. So this is Good Times on Our Street and Good Times Today. Sorry, holding up the wrong one here. And these are Macmillan Easy Readers. And these again have beautiful illustrations and fun illustrations, making reading fun for kids. Most of these are all school books that were either in school libraries or school classrooms. So a lot of them have markings from schools in them, but they're still great books. To welcome spring this week, because today's the first day of spring, even though here it does not quite feel like it. It's a little chilly. I added this Beatrix Potter book, which is signed by the author, which was not Beatrix Potter, by the way. It's Marta McDowell, and she signed this one. And I also added it with this Beatrix in Nature, A Life in Nature. This one's a biography. This one talks about her gardening life. Both great books if you love Beatrix Potter and want to read more about her. Her life was really, really interesting. So she's a lot of fun to read about. Another set of school books. These are all science books. This is Science Every Day, Exploring Science and Working in Science. They were all, these are all gin readers, so it's from the same series, just different, different books from the same series. So you can see these illustrations. Let me see if I can find another one. Yeah, just lots of illustrations in these. They're a lot of fun. Lots of vintage school books if you're looking for those. I have a lot, and I have a lot that are unlisted. So if you'd like to reach out to me, I'd be happy to let you know what else I have. With Mother's Day and Father's Day coming up, I added this modern set of books called The Littlest Big Books for Dads, Littlest Big Books for Moms, and The Littlest Big Book of Animals. And they are filled with vintage illustrations, vintage stories. They are beautiful gift books. And they just have lots of, illustrations. There's music in them. There's recipes. They all have their little silk page markers. So those were added to the shop as well. I came across a bunch of vintage books that were published in, had been published in different countries. And this is one of them. This is The Adventures of Duno and His Friends. And this is a Russian book. Originally, it was printed in Moscow. And so these are just little stories about Duno and his friends. And they're all translated from Russia, all filled with black and white illustrations and just different stories. I'm not sure. I don't believe they're folklores. I think they're just Russian stories for children. They could be folk tales, but I'm not positive because I couldn't find very much information about that. But I did add that to the shop this week as well. I added a set of books, beginner reader books about airplanes. This is The Little Airplane by Louis Lenski. I have Sky Pioneers. This is the story of the Wright brothers, Amelia Earhart, and the first book of planes. So this is a little set that I did add to the shop as well. And lastly, I added this book called The Adventures of Baron, I think it's Munchausen is how you pronounce it, but it is illustrated by Ronald Cyril. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. And the illustrations in here, he's a cartoonist. And these illustrations are hilarious. Let me see. There you go. And it's just, apparently this Baron really did exist in real life, and people have written stories about him and really embellished his life. And so I just added this one to the shop as well. If you have any questions or if you see anything that you would like, be sure to head over to the website at logcabinvintage.com and check back again next week, where I'll have another edition of What's New Wednesday. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.